I'm with Jihan Emaya, who is a speech therapist. Now, Jihan, what is the work that you do as a speech therapist?
Well, we do a lot of work actually, but mainly we deal with people with the speech and language delay. When I say speech or language, there is a big difference because speech we mean misarticulation, when the person he misarticulate any phoneme. With the language, we talk about syntax, we talk about semantics, pragmatics, how they use the language, all these things. Also, I deal with stuttering, with voice disorder, and swallowing disorder, as well as cognitive problems.
Do people come to you from the Bethlehem area?
Usually, not only from Bethlehem, we have from Hebron, from Ramallah, even from Tulkarem, from Nablus, it depends.
And what sort of person will come to you?
Usually people come with speech, as I said, with speech problems, if they misarticulate any sound. For example, if they say L instead of or it, T instead of K. Also, we have people with stuttering, if they stutter or they make stimming, they speak very quickly, or they just make prolongation, or they repeat the first of the first word in the sentence. Also, if they have voice disorder, if they misuse or abuse their voice. We have people, they have CVA, stroke on their head, because usually if you have a stroke, it affects your head and affects your cognition and affects your words. And of course, we deal with apraxic children, that they have apraxia, developmental apraxia, or apraxia as a result of a stroke or a head trauma, maybe. Also, I receive children that they are with mental retardation, with autism, which is now a very spread in our area. And also I deal with people with slow learning, because I work as a special educator. And these are the kinds of children. And I take children from 3 years until 70, 80, it depends on the stroke when it comes to the person. And I deal also with the children with deafness. They are deaf from whenever they were born, or they got a head trauma or something that caused hearing loss, and with children that they have cochlear implant.
And why do people struggle with their speech?
As I said, there are many reasons that they struggle with the speech. Maybe they get a head trauma. Maybe they just were born with some problem with developmental delay, or it's just they have problems with cognition, they have problems with concentration, with memory disorder, or maybe they have ADHD, they have some syndromes, a lot of syndromes, of course, we cannot just tell them now, or they just face any problem. Sometimes social problems, it affects the child, so it brings him to have a problem, a psychological problem that affects his speech and language.
Now, there's conflict here in Bethlehem. Does that actually affect speech as well?
Usually I received a lot of children that they have stuttering as a result of the shelling. The shelling, the intifada, there were a lot of shelling, a lot of shooting. So some of them, they were so afraid. So the fear, it causes sometimes stuttering. If they just faced a very frightening situation, they would be, like we call them, passive speakers. They don't want to interact with other people. So it will be, we call it a psychological problem. Some people, they become mute, that we call the syndrome selective mutism. So some children, they don't want to speak anymore just because of any psychological problem that they face. Maybe from the situation, sometimes from some social problems within the family. It affects.
Does the whole family have to get on board with the program to help the individual?
Not only the family. Actually, it's a multidisciplinary team. It depends on what he needs. We just evaluate the child, we see what he needs. Maybe we need the involvement of the parents to help us and to support us. Of course, they have to train him after he comes to our clinic. Sometimes I feel that he needs to go to a psychologist or psychiatrist. Maybe he has ADHD and he needs some medicine, or he needs some behavioral modification. Also, the physiotherapist, sometimes it's needed, or the occupational therapist to work with me on cognition and on the motor skills that I need.
Does a problem with speech create other barriers in a person's life?
Of course, as I said, he wouldn't have any communication with others. So he's not able to express himself very well. So he doesn't want to speak with others. He doesn't want to study or to go to the school, because he doesn't want to see the others that they are better than him, or he doesn't want just to interact in any other activities. He wants to be alone. So he will be a withdrawal person. He will not continue his life normally. So here we have to intervene and to be there for him.
What sort of changes have you seen?
Well, actually, I have seen a lot of changes in my clinic. Thanks God that I consider myself a good speech therapist. I will not say an excellent, but I feel that I'm doing very good job. They come, for example, many children, they came with no speech at all, or they don't have any words, they don't have any language. They started to talk, they started to communicate. I work on concentration problems, I work on academic problems, and I saw a lot of improvements. The best thing that I saw, that many children, when they first started to talk in front of me, it was perfect. I remember 3 weeks ago, and also I put it on the Facebook, an autistic child, he was coming to my clinic. He never talked anything. And I was working with him to imitate me in things. So always I was saying to him, okay, let's put this inside. Let's put it inside. I mean, it's a game to put inside or to put it outside the toy. So once I wanted to do something else, I didn't give notice to him. And then he told me, put it inside, out of the blue. I looked at him, and it was, the mother started to cry, I started to cry, and he was like shocked, because we were crying. And it was a shock. For the first time, he asked me, because I didn't ask him, and usually I ask him the same thing. So he wanted to be sure, are we going to do the same thing? So he told, put it inside. And it was, oh my God, a very nice feeling. Yeah. Yes, these improvements are amazing,
What's it like for you to see someone change?
As I said, it's an extraordinary thing to see something like that. And when you see the happiness on the face of the mother or the face of the family, it's really a success for yourself. It's really amazing.
Does there need to be a greater awareness about speech therapy in the Palestinian community?
Well, they need a lot of awareness, and I hope that the community understands what does it mean to be a speech therapist, because in Palestine it's a new field. Not a lot of people know about it. So I try to aware the people through the Facebook. I gave many interviews on the TV to show the people how important the speech is, because I want to tell you something. When there is a delay in your speech and language, the child, he will have academic problems, and he will be a slow learner. When the dictionary of the language, it's empty, you cannot just continue in your life normally. You cannot just go to the first grade, to the second grade normally. So you need special education. So as long as we start from the beginning or very, very early age, it's better for the child, and he will improve from all aspects in life.
Is there a stigma and an embarrassment about going to speech therapy?
Some of the people think, if you take your child to a speech therapist, okay, it's not like a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but still they feel that they want to be, everybody wants his children to be the best. So whenever you say he's going to a speech therapy, he has a problem in speech, he has a problem in his language, it's some kind of embarrassing for the mother. And many people, especially if they are autistic or they have some syndrome, like Down syndrome or something, they just embarrassed to say that my child has a problem.
But this is actually going to help them in the end, isn't it?
Yeah, it helps them at the end, but as I said, all the people they seek for perfection. So it's not easy just to say that my child has a problem and it's easy to go and to come back. Many people, many mothers, they ask me not to say to other people, especially if they see some other people, if they ask about me, why he is here, just ask he came to ask something else, not for the kid. Yeah, really. Yeah. So it was really, I don't know. Yeah. So that's why I say awareness is very important, because whenever you do it earlier, it's the best for the child.
It breaks the barrier, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Are you making a difference in the community?
Well, I think yes, not only me, speech therapists in general, they make a lot of difference in the community. Whenever you have a child that he cannot speak and then he tries to speak and he tries to make sentences, he starts to express himself, it will be an easier life for him and for all people around.
Why do you do what you do?
Because I like it. I love it. I love what I do, and I think I'm good at it. And when I see a child that he's improving, it's, I don't know, for me, I become very enthusiastic and I become very motivated.
What's your prayer for these children that need speech therapy?
Well, I say that whenever, as mothers, whenever you feel or see that the child faces a problem, don't hesitate to go to a speech therapist, because it will help him a lot in his social life, in his academic life, and in his future. It will make life easier, a lot easier.
Okay, Jihan, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.